Car Rocks with Preston and Steve.
Normally, our current guest is here to talk about some fun stuff, some outrageous things, and usually it's a pretty wild time, but a kind of a different tone this time, obviously. It was about a week ago or so we were on the air. Charlie Day was sitting in the same seat that Bam's sitting in right now. We were having a great conversation with him. We started seeing some text messages coming up, alluding to the fact that the accident that Kathy was reporting on was Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, all morning, and didn't realize it until the end of the morning.
Well, because a lot of times people post stuff and it's
not true.
Crap.
And so we did a little research. Casey got in touch with April Margera, and she hadn't heard anything. But then a little while back, she looked into it and called us back and to verify that it was indeed Ryan that was killed in that car accident. And we haven't had a chance to talk to Bam. Obviously, he's been distraught and busy as well with all the with the viewing and other things and consoling and so on and so forth. But and just grieving. Yeah, exactly. But he's here now and.
Howdy.
Hey, man. It's
definitely been a rough week for me, man.
Yeah, it's been, I was curious about how we were going to conduct this. We just found out last night you wanted to come in. I mean, we saw the footage of you on the news breaking down, upset, obviously. I mean, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life, I would imagine.
Well, first of all, I was in the middle of nowhere in Arizona when I found out, and, I woke up to that phone call, It was,
Who called you?
Well, somehow my buddy Mohawk and Louie got the key to my hotel room because I wasn't answering the door because it was 9 in the morning. But finally they answered and they're like, "Yo, you need to talk to your brother." I'm like, "Dude, I'll call him back, man." He's like, "No, you need to talk to him now." I'm like, "I'll call him back." "No, talk to him." So then he told me it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, it almost didn't seem real. And
right.
The worst part ever was just being in the middle of nowhere in Arizona and knowing that I need to be home right now.
Right.
So it's basically well, first class is completely sold out. There's no direct flights, and we could get you to Austin, Texas. You'll have a 3-hour layover there. Then we have a middle seat to Detroit, and then once you get there, then we could get you to Newark, and then from there you could take a taxi all the way to Philadelphia. It's no, oh my God, how much is a private jet right now?
Right.
Well, it's a nightmare scenario. I remember you talking about it because the last thing you want to do is be left to your own devices to sit there and think and ponder and feel bad for not being there. Something you had no control over. Mm-hmm. So you end up catching a flight back and how did you just sit there and go comatose? How did you make that flight without going out of your friggin' mind?
The most insane thing was, I had a night off. I was doing some appearances in Vegas and San Diego, at clubs in Vegas or whatever. And we had one night off in Arizona. We were in the middle of the desert, and everybody was talking about how good of a time we're having and wow, this is a great night, all that. And then out of nowhere at 12:30 at night, I just start ripping the speakers out of the rental van, punching the roof, and then I punch the window out, and the whole thing just breaks, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know what it is. I just feel so mad right now, and I don't know why." And it turns out that 12:30, which means it's 3:30 in the morning here, which is when Dunn crashed. So that's
you guys
just some weird energy going on there.
No, I mean
there was no reason for me to be mad
to do that.
Why would I punch out a van window for no reason? I just felt something. It was the strangest thing.
You guys are just gravitated to each other in high school. I mean, it was his first day at that school after moving here from Ohio. You guys had spent a lot of good times together. Do you guys feel like you guys were kindred spirits?
Pretty much. I mean, I met him when I was 12 or 13, and every project that I pretty much ever did, I always involved him in it. And Zach, not to mention, he was in the car as well, and he's been at my house for 2 months straight editing his new movie, and it was almost done, so I saw him every single day pulling 48-hour days just in my editing room,
So the questions, everyone immediately became. It's hard to process, especially when we're just on the periphery. This is a guy who is your brother, basically. and you never know what's the right thing to do. You never want to, how do you approach someone? And it's this dance we do around death, that makes it very uncomfortable because people, everything, it's funny, Ben, because a lot of what was directed for people's compassion and heartfelt feelings was directed at a concern for how you would respond.
Yeah.
And
most people, the thing to say is like, I'm really sorry for your loss. If there's anything I could, I'll have.
No one knows what to say.
I'll have like the dude from Jim's Hot Dogs come up and be like, yo, man, if there's anything I could do, let me know. Like, yeah, dude, give me a dozen hot dogs. Like, what do you mean? If there's anything you could do, go give me a pack of smokes and a Gatorade. What are you talking about?
Right.
I know that's the thing to say. Like, I really don't know either.
Yeah, it's just hard to process.
It is. It really is.
So, that happens. You've had a little bit of time to let it breathe. Still not a lot of time. You had somebody who's so profound in your life. Have you come to any conclusions? As broad a question as that is?
It's just so weird that, this is honestly the first time that I've ever lost somebody that I cared about, and like it jumped right to my best friend. Like there was no like gradual anything. It was just,
right.
So it just like hit me so hard, and I thought my phone was actually going to explode from so many text messages. Like I actually got one from Brad Pitt saying like, I'm really sorry for Dunn and, all that. And I'm thinking like, wow. And, I guess it is easy for him to get my number. All he has to do is call Spike Jones and you get it in 10 seconds, but.
Well, here's the way I was thinking about it. And you talk about thinking, right, you go up to tears. We were thinking of this collective. All you guys have made a living off of sort of defying death and living in the face of that and saying, hey, we're going to push it to the limit. And, with Steve-O and all these guys, there were people that certainly even and have admitted in the past, there were people that you thought were going to check out.
Yeah.
Dunn did not seem to be that guy. Ryan seemed to be, and the times that he would come here, and even recently, he had hit a new turn. It seemed to be, and he was actually professing to us, that time has passed where I'm going to be doing that super crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's time to go in a different direction. I don't have anything to prove anymore.
Well, he was always a full-blown nut in a car. Like in September 1996, when I was 16 years old, like he flipped me on 202 8 times in a car.
Jesus.
And, thank God Chris Rabb put a seatbelt on me because we never really did that. And I actually undid the seatbelt saying, like, I'm not a wimp, And
right.
he put it back on me. 2 seconds later, we're flipping 8 times. And my brother was in the front, and he only had, like, when you shut the door, the seatbelt comes closing in. So he didn't have the bottom part on.
But he had the,
So he flew out the car, like, 40 feet into the woods, and we landed upside down, and I couldn't find him anywhere. So I thought he was underneath the car. Like, he got like helicoptered to it was terrible. But I always tell Dunn, like, he'll get the lightest car in the world that like your 5-year-old daughter could pick up, and then he'll put a Lamborghini engine on it with like nitrous and turbo boost and stuff. It's like, dude, you're gonna fishtail right into a pole, dude. With like, it's a light car with such power in it.
You can't control it. You can't control it. It's like it's a rocket.
And I honestly think that people say like, drunk driving, whatever. Like he was a maniac, whether he was or wasn't. Like that's what he did. He buys sports cars and he loves to race.
Let me ask you this question then. You love him to death as a brother. Did you find yourself being a bit angry that because his actions that night dictated what happened, and you love him to death? Was there a moment where you felt anger?
More of just, kind of just what am I going to do? Like my best friend is gone. Like,
right.
I talk to him every day. Like, whether it's filming something or golfing or going to the mall or anything, like, it's just like, I feel like going to the King of Prussia Mall. Let me call up Don. Oh, never mind. It's like really hard to comprehend. Like
it's wild. I just, a lot of things have been said about Ryan over the last couple of weeks. Especially at the blood alcohol level. The speed that he was going. But we know Ryan, and you know Ryan better than anybody. And the fact that he flipped the car over, and I'm talking about when you were 16 years old. The fact that he flipped the car over, ejected your brother 40 feet from the crash site, and that your mom still considers him a son and kept him in your family is a testament to what a good guy he was, despite how crazy of a driver he was and insane sort of personality. I knew him as a nice guy and a guy who would talk to anybody, try to make anybody laugh, and we had a tweet or I guess a blog from Knoxville. He was just such a good listener, so when you're telling me this story, if this were me and my brother being in a car accident with my best friend, my parents would forbid me to ever talk to this person again.
Yeah.
And you were still not only allowed to talk to him, but he was welcome in your house.
Yeah.
Forever.
It definitely was tough, because when that happened in 1996, like, there was a good 10 minutes where I thought my brother was underneath the car dead, and like I'm trying to lift it up and I'm punching the hell out of Dunn, just saying like, like, you killed my, Then I see like feet in the woods like 40 feet away, and like I just run over there and he's just like, like it was terrible. And like, I just did an interview on the news. I went to the crash site, and the news happened to be there. And like,
it broke my heart to see that. Yeah,
there's some rude, crude dudes out there, man. Like, I would read some comments like, "Well, Bam's a really good actor, fake crying like that to get attention." It's like, what? What are you? Are you nuts? Like,
the one that we talked about this. The one thing that you can count on is the anonymity of comments breeds huge balls.
Yeah.
And I know you commented on the Ebert thing. There was a great piece we put up on the. Listen, Ryan Dunn made some bad choices that night, but and it could have been even worse if other people had been involved. But that it doesn't extract the fact that Ryan Dunn was a good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And was a good person.
And like if I can't believe Roger Ebert has the gall to even, first of all, put in his 2 cents. Second of all, be like, jackasses shouldn't let jackasses drive. It's like, what? Like, this just happened, dude. And
it was like
I've been
hours
crying
later.
for 2 days straight, and so are hundreds and millions of other people. And like, you have the gall to make a comment like that. Like, I want to fly to wherever you are and punch your fat face in.
Well, the article said the art of knowing when to shut up.
Yeah.
And to just let something
maybe I spoke
breathe.
too soon. Just don't even speak at all.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really hard to ignore those things, and sometimes that's kind of what you have to do, because those people don't know what they're talking about. And it's best to just mourn your friend's passing. And we got to know him a little bit over the years, not obviously nearly as well as you knew him, Bam. But so much of what you guys did over the years was chronicled in video, and that's sort of how we got to know him, through the movies and the TV shows. Have you sat down to watch any of the stuff that you guys have done together in the past?
I just saw like a few YouTube tribute clips, recently, just, which is weird, because there actually is something on Viva La Bam saying like, you're gonna,
you and your mom are saying,
you're gonna crash one day and it's gonna be like something like that. And, they were kind of just showing that on YouTube.
There's this video, because Jackass 3.0 was on MTV a couple weekends, the weekend right before he passed, and there was this history of you guys getting together on Jackass. It was Jackass the early years, and it was just touching for me to see you guys as friends getting together and doing really dumb things and having fun doing it. But having Ryan be a part of that, it just really highlighted that he was just your buddy. He was just a cool guy, and seeing that side of him, I thought was really cool.
I got to ask this, Bam, since this happened. Is this gonna? Because you guys, and we've always said it, you guys live another lifestyle than the average person. You do outrageous stuff, whether it be on camera or off camera, and you're a special breed of people. And I'm curious if that's going to change your own personal lifestyle. Has it made you kind of introspective, look inside, and go, I maybe ought to back off a little bit about being so over the top?
Well, for one, I would never drink and drive. From now on. I might have like a beer or two or whatever, but like I'll never like officially drink and drive. And luckily I have somebody who lives at my house who usually drives me around when I want to go to the bar. But the idiot, I was away and he had to go to the gas station to get smokes or whatever. So he decided to take the Lambo, realized that it was on E, and the moron